Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here or finding my channel for the first time by way of this video, welcome. I have been doing a series here where I've been sharing how I married a man that I had absolutely no business marrying. All the signs, the red flags, everything was there. Even had a dream that told me not to marry the man. I married the man, and baby, I suffered. Okay. I suffered. And so I've been sharing what that experience in that marriage looked like due to my own disobedience, my lack of better judgment, and choosing the wrong man to marry. And in today's video, I kind of want to get into something that you guys probably was not prepared for, or maybe you were. I know I've been discussing all the terrible things he's done to me, but I wanted to share this story because I want to show you guys how this man had no respect of person, okay? He was an equal opportunity scumbag. He would cross any and everybody. And so today I'm going to tell you guys about how he had a sexual encounter with his longtime client's slash friend's wife. Before I get into this story time, I want to say something because I want to kind of clarify why I'm giving you guys all of these stories about things that happen. It goes back to the original point and why I decided to share, because I ignore all the signs, even though they were subtle. Some were subtle in the beginning, some were major, but regardless, there were numerous signs in the beginning that told me I should not deal with this man. And because I chose not to, I want to basically give you guys an understanding of what that experience looked like for me going into a marriage with a man that I had no business marrying. I just really want to illustrate how bad it can really be for you when you align yourself with somebody that is not meant for you. And no, this is not going to be everybody's story, but again, it was mine. And I just think it's just really important for us as women and men, because men also enter into marriages with women that they are not, aligned with either. So for whoever if it resonates with, I just want to really drive the point home that marriage is a huge decision. Who you marry, excuse me, let me be more specific. Who you marry is the single most important decision of your life. Make sure you choose your partner wisely. We cannot afford to marry somebody and ignore things that we have been seeing in that person. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, everybody isn't perfect. No, this is not about marrying a perfect person. No, we're not perfect. However, you cannot marry somebody that you know, that you see, that is showing you that they're not ready for marriage, that they are struggling with things within themselves, that they are having their own internal demons and issues. Whatever that may look like, it's going to look like a lot of different things. And it could be something as simple as you keep catching them in a lie. A person that's lying to you, don't marry somebody that's lying to you. You know what I mean? If they telling why, even if they're white lies, the white lies, I tell you, the white lies, they're going to turn into big lies. A liar, no. So I want to illustrate everything I went through in that marriage and be the example for how bad this situation got for me, because I chose to ignore my better judgment. And I always say this, the signs that I saw early on could have never prepared me for how demonic this man was, for how dark he was. But there were enough signs, there were enough or red flags and warning signs that were meant to deter me away from him, and I didn't listen. And so again, this series is all about me taking accountability, but also letting you guys in on how bad the situation was. Because yeah, I don't want anybody to do this. If one person sees this video and they're in a relationship, they're dating, and they're seeing red flags that they've been trying to like rationalize and justify, and because at the time it feels small, it doesn't feel like enough to break up with them. Listen, it's not worth your mental health in 5, 6, 10 years. It's not worth it. I've been there where I justified a lot of stuff. I rationalized a lot of stuff. I minimized a lot of stuff and I paid for it. And so this is why I'm doing these videos, again, to show you guys how bad these situations got. Okay. So my ex worked in the car industry. He was a salesperson at a major dealership. And during his time in the dealership, he was, I guess you could say he was a glorified salesman. He earned a lot of, rewards and, a lot of accolades. And he was known in the city and he was on radio stations and commercials. So he really made a name for himself within the community of that particular brand of car. And so through his, rapport with the community and his popularity within the city, he built a very strong clientele, really strong. So most of his clients were, returning clients and referrals. He didn't, for the most part, he didn't have to sit at the door and wait. He had a lot of his own clients or they were sending people in. So he did really, really well in this business. Okay. And there was one particular client that we're going to call Kevin for the sake of this video. Kevin was one of his most loyal clients. Kevin, I think, had purchased maybe 3 to 4 cars from him over the course of the 4 or 5 years. This included cars for his wife, probably kids. Also, he has sent his family to my ex to purchase vehicles as well. So he brought a lot of business to my ex. And because they had such a strong business relationship, they also built a very good, friendship to a certain degree. They had a really good rapport, seeing somebody that much over the years, you start to build a personal connection. So they were good business partners, but they also had a really good personal or friendship relationship as well. Okay. So I want to say this was in 2022. Yes, 2022. I don't know which month, but I know it was in 2022. Kevin came back to the dealership because he was ready to upgrade his vehicle, his truck, to a newer truck. He wanted to get a brand new truck. Okay. He worked in construction. So it was really important for him to maintain the big heavy duty trucks. And so he needed a newer, bigger truck. And so, of course, he comes to no other than my ex, and they put a deal together for him to get a new truck. The deal goes through fine. And, they set up delivery for the new vehicle. Now, whenever a customer purchases a new vehicle, there's this whole little walkthrough tour that the salesperson is supposed to do with the customer to kind of show them how to operate the vehicle because it's brand new. And this particular truck, it had a lot of features and gadgets and things like that. And they have to set up the OnStar with them. So you have to be, the delivery part is about 30 minutes, maybe give or take. It could be less than that, but it just depends on the vehicle and all the features. For this particular truck, it might have been a 20 to 30 minute, tour of going over everything, the features on OnStar. However, Kevin was not going to be available to take delivery of the truck. So he asked my ex if he would be able to deliver it to his house and leave it with his wife. Oh, Lord. My ex, no problem. No problem. Yes, I got you. You one of my most loyal customers. However we got to do this, I got you. Don't worry, bro. So my ex does just that on the day of delivery. Kevin arranges the time with his wife and tells my husband to head over there at whatever time they agreed to. My husband heads over there, and apparently I find all this out in 2024, 2 years later. But according to his story, and we'll get into how everything came out, but apparently he went over there to deliver the truck. And because Kevin was such a loyal customer, my ex wanted to thank him for his loyalty. He wanted to thank him for all the business he brought him over the years and for being a loyal customer, all the money he made off of Kevin. And he did so by allowing that man's wife to give him fellatio in the very truck that Kevin had just purchased from him. In the very truck that this man just purchased from him, his most loyal client. He is in this man's truck with his wife, and this wife's mouth is over his hoo-ha. Yeah, this is the type of demon we're dealing with. When I tell you he has no respect of person, He doesn't care about anybody. This isn't just about him dogging his wife out. Oh yeah, he'll dog me out. He'll dog out his friends. He'll shake hands, break bread with his homies, and will turn around and attempt to sleep with their wives. When I tell you this man is demonic, he's dark, he's evil, he's wicked. Somebody on my TikTok said it's giving Jonas. Listen, I don't know if y'all seen Polygamous on Netflix, but it's a lot of the energy is giving Jonas. Minus a lot of other things, but for the most part, yes, like just don't care. Have no care in the world about nobody. So he had this encounter with this man's wife. Called him up. Hey, Kevin, everything's good. Yep, your wife got the car, as he's probably zipping his pants up and fixing himself after this man's wife just, okay. So how did all of this come out? In 2020, like I said, that happened in 2022. Everything started coming out about this man in 2023. Started coming out. Notice I said started coming out. Everything didn't come out. We went into 2024 with things still coming out. When I tell you this man had a nasty, long, dark history of being just a sexual predator, sexual demon. He's so nasty. He's so nasty. So in 2024, because, and I mentioned in one of my other videos, if you are not caught up with the series, I do suggest you go back and watch everything because it'll kind of get you a better understanding of a lot of context. But I mentioned in one of my other videos that he was trying to win back his family from 2023 through 2025. And so he was doing whatever he could. He was confessing. Baby, when I tell you he was talking, he was running his mouth like a faucet. But everything, he just started telling I want to tell everything. I want everything to come out. So in 2024, this was another confession of his, where it was his way of, he wanted to prove to me that he was going to finally be honest. As I mentioned before, nothing at this point, this wasn't about honesty at this point. This was about, you've crossed so many boundaries and you've done so much that there's no returning back from this. There's no returning back. But I was still letting him just run his mouth because clearly, I'm like, yeah, keep telling, keep sharing, keep letting it out. You know what I mean? So I was still letting him run his mouth, but I had no desire. I was done. In 2023, I was done. And so he ended up confessing that in 2022, when he had the affair with a coworker, he also had this situation with Kevin's wife. 2022, there was 3 women. So it was the coworker, it was Kevin's wife, and it was a customer. Okay. So that's at least what he told me for 2022. Who knows? It could have been 2 coworkers, 2 customers, Kevin wife and Albert wife. We'll never know. But this is just as much as he's told me. So in 2022, he shared with me how he had the encounter with Kevin's wife. And this is what he told me how it happened, that he went over there to give her the truck. As they were in the truck and he's showing her, going over all the, features and, he has to tell her everything because Kevin isn't there. He said they started having kind of like a little bit of a flirtation in the truck. And she made a comment about his print. And he was like, oh, well, you want to see it? I'll take it out for you. Because, he always ready to whip that thing out for anybody at any time. Anytime he'd be ready. So he told her he'll show her. This is like, talking about this is so disgusting and embarrassing. It's like regurgitating this back. It's like, ew, this is the man I was married to. Mind you, I'm like home, taking care of his child, making his dinner, cleaning his house. And this is what you're out doing. You're in this man's truck. Talking about, oh, you want to see it? And what, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I think about it, it's just like, oh, like, it's so gross. But getting back on track, he told her, he asked her if she wanted to see it, and she agreed, and he whipped it out, and she grabbed it, and they went from there. Mind you, he's delivering this truck from work, right? So how does he get back to work? Right? How is he getting back to work after he delivers the truck that he just drove to their house? Great question. He has a colleague that the delivery guy who does actual deliveries, who's in a car behind him, waiting for him to get out this truck so they can drive him back to the store. This person is completely unaware that his coworker is in this truck getting fellatio from the customer's wife. You see what I'm saying? This is how nasty this man is. Like, like, saying this is almost triggering because it's like, oh my gosh. Like I said, I ignored all the warning signs. And this is how bad this got. This got so disgusting. This situation got so dark. It got so nasty. He got worse. Every time I ignored something or forgave him for something, even if it was something small, because like I said, cheating did not come out throughout the marriage. Cheating came out in 2023. But anytime there was just an inclination of something, I would just ignore it. And I feel like that made him feel even more empowered because he felt like I'm getting away with this. So this man really got worse over time. Like his actions, like when I went back and just went over everything that I know of that he's done, with every year he did something worse. And so he's in the car with this woman. The delivery guy is behind him, parked, waiting for him because he's thinking he's just in there going over the features and activating OnStar with her. Whole time he activating something else. You know what I'm saying? And he said he went on about his business. Now, just to go back a little bit, I remembered in 2022 seeing a new account follow him. And this account's profile was a picture of a woman's butt in a thong. And I went to check to see if he was following the account. He wasn't following the account. And I asked him about it. And I said, who is this profile that just followed you and why, like, who is this? Because her account was private. So I couldn't see, anything. But you could clearly see that they had like a lot of posts. They had a good following and a good amount of following and followers. So I knew it wasn't one of those like bot accounts. You could tell it was a real account. And I'm like, what woman puts a profile picture of her in a thong? Like, this is a real account. And so I asked him about it and he said, oh, that's just a customer. And I was like, you need to delete her because why would she come follow you and she got this profile pic? So that happened in 2022. So I went and removed her. Come to find out, that was Kevin's wife. That profile was Kevin's wife, but he didn't say that's Kevin's wife. He just said, oh, it was just a customer that was inquiring about a car. Oh, and now she following you with her butt on her profile. So again, things like this is happening. And he's like, well, I don't know. She followed me because she found my page. I ain't following her back. That's how he made it seem like this ain't got nothing to do with me. This her. She followed me. Okay. Whole time that was Kevin's wife. So this is in 2024. He confesses all it is. I'm sorry. I'm like, how many times did you have an encounter with this woman? It was just the one time. That was the one time. I don't believe that. All he ever confessed to was that one time in the car. I don't believe it. I don't. I 100% do not believe that. So as he's talking, the only thing that's going through my mind is I need to get in contact with Kevin. I got to get in contact with Kevin right away. I need to let him know this because 2 years has gone by. This is 2024. His wife was giving this man fellatio 2 years prior in his truck. So I'm like, oh, I gotta tell this man. I gotta tell him. So I found Kevin on Facebook, reached out to Kevin, asked him to call. I sent him my number, told him, please call me. I know you don't know me. This is so-and-so's wife. Please call me. I have something to tell you. It's urgent. He ends up sending me a text and I tell him everything. Kevin initially did not believe it. It was actually the saddest thing ever because this man did not see his wife in that way. This man thought he had a great, healthy marriage. This man thought that his wife was 100% loyal. He thought that she was not capable of ever doing something like that. And this is why I tell people all the time. And I actually made a short. about this, where I said, never say what your man won't do. And in this case, or your woman, anybody, you can never be too sure about what somebody will and won't do. That drives me crazy when people like, my so-and-so would never, you don't know what people would do. You don't know what people are really capable of. But this man truly thought that he was in a healthy, happy marriage, and he did not see his wife being capable of doing something like this. So it really took him a little bit to really even believe it and digest it. Like he was in denial. He was just like, are you sure? Like, and I had to tell him, didn't you buy this truck in 2022? This brand, this year, this color. Like, I had to give him all the deeds. Didn't my ex drop it off to you? And he's like, yeah. And I had to continue to like reiterate to him, they had a sexual encounter in that truck the day of that delivery. This man was so like in shock. He was just like in shock. There was just moments where like he just couldn't even speak. And it really broke my heart, because at this point for me, this is a year after my life had already completely like blew up. So I was already done, even though things were still coming out. This man is living his life, feeling happy. He's a hardworking man. He owns a construction business. And he thinks that, life is great. He got a great wife. He's well off, great career, owns a business. And I have to call and tell him, you need to be careful of your wife. You need to watch her. And so eventually, he kind of was like, okay, accepting of it or receptive of it. And he was like, I need to get in contact with my wife. And I was like, yeah, please, you need to confront her. You need to ask her about it. Because at first he was telling me that maybe your ex is lying to you. That's what he was thinking. He's like, maybe he's just lying to you just to get, I'm like, no, I can promise you that this happened. So about an hour after Kevin and I got off the phone, he calls me back with his wife on the phone. And she's crying. Why would you lie to my husband? Why would you lie to my husband? And you're trying to break up my family. I never touch your husband. I don't like your husband. She went on for about, I don't know, a good 3 minutes denying it. And I didn't say anything. I didn't have anything to say. I just listened to her. And I let her go on saying that, we were lying and making this up and we're trying to break up our family. And after she kept going on and on, I just said, you need to tell your husband the truth. You need to stop and you need to tell your husband the truth. And then she just started crying even more. And then she goes, it was an accident. It was an accident. And she's on the phone. Baby, it was an accident. I'm so sorry. And I said, Kevin, I'm going to go ahead and let you go now. I said, I'm so sorry that I had to come to you with this news. I wish you the best. And I just really felt like it was best for you to know exactly who you are married to. And I did not want to keep this information from you. And and he thanked me and we got off the phone and I never spoke to him again. So I have no idea what happened with Kevin and his wife, but she finally said it was an accident. That was her story, and that's what she was sticking to. And he stuck to the story that it was just the one time and they never did anything before then or after then. I 100% do not believe that. My body and everything in me told me that there were multiple times. Even with her following him with the profile with her butt, I don't know if that was a way to like entice him more after the fact. I don't know. I don't know at what point she followed him, if it was before that encounter or after, but I 100% believe there were more encounters. And then the funny thing is, so by the time that all this had came out, that was not her profile pic anymore. She had a regular selfie profile pic of just like her face. So it was like you purposely used that profile and went and followed him to like get his attention and entice him. And of course, he's a dog, so he gonna go. But yeah, so that was how it came out that this man went and had an encounter with his most loyal client's wife. It also came out that there were other men who he was either friends or acquaintances of, where he didn't like sleep with them, but he had some flirty conversations, and there were conversations around possible hookups with other men's wives that he was essentially cool with, whether they were an acquaintance or a friend. But this man has no regard for anybody. No regards for anybody. He would cross whoever, whatever is convenient for him, whatever he wanted, whatever he desired, he was going to do and he was going to get. And it did not matter who he had to cross, who he had to step on, and who he had to hurt. This man has no consideration for no one but himself. He's an actual deviant and he has an actual addiction, I believe, 100%. He did reach out to Kevin, but he was trying to reach out to him to apologize. Like, please, you're not sorry. You're really not sorry. And I really didn't feel like he was sorry. I just felt like I didn't feel like he was genuinely sorry. I felt like he didn't like the fact that his image of being the good guy was exposed, that people were seeing him for who he really was. I feel like that's more about what it was. It had nothing to do with him being genuinely sorry about you. You already done tore up your home and now you going around tearing up other people's home too. Like, he didn't care about that. It was really about the downfall of his image, that people were seeing him for exactly who he was. Like, oh, you're being exposed now. Like, people know that you're not this good guy who's this devoted, loving husband. People are seeing that you're a scumbag, that you're a demon, that you will hurt any and everybody. And I think that was what his ego was being crushed because his good boy image was being dismantled. We know you're not a good boy. We know you're not a good person. And so, yeah, but it was very sad. And like I said, I don't know what happened with Kevin or his wife or the situation. It wasn't for me to like keep up with that or get an update. I simply wanted to get the information to Kevin to let him know. And I'm glad I did. So if they chose to, get help and move forward, great. But whatever he chose to do, I felt like he needed to at least know. He needed to know. So as I stated before, this series is literally to illustrate how bad this man truly was. I ignored everything, and this man was a villain. This man was a villain to everybody, okay? Not just me. Everybody could get it, literally and figuratively. So drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.